Welcome back to Mind Your Biz. I'm your host, Seth. And today, in part of our content interview series or our content creator series, I have the privilege of having the man himself, a brother from another mother across the pond. Well, that's literally not true. We're probably distantly related. I think if you go 40 generations back, you can link everybody.
Well, we're actually twins. And the way to tell us apart is who's wearing the big headphones, because there's no other obvious differences there.
None.
Twins on
none,
the blockchain.
Yeah, none whatsoever. Crypto Rich, welcome to Mind Your Biz.
Hey, Seth. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
really
no, it's always a pleasure. It's been some time. I think we've done a couple of collabs, but it's been almost 2 years now. I think maybe even pre-lockdowns that we did our first collabs. And
possibly.
I think that the world has changed significantly since then. That's content for another time. What I'm going to say to the Mind Your Biz audience, go follow Crypto Rich. And you can see the links right there on the marquee of his background. You can see that
and I would say it's the Odyssey link to follow. I'm a little bit lazy and not well organized, so I don't update on ThreeSpeak. I'm very sorry, ThreeSpeak. ThreeSpeak's a great platform, but
yeah, well, Jeremy and the team at Odyssey, they keep on rolling out features. That's the thing. It's hard to keep up with the features that Jeremy and his team have been rolling out through the library ecosystem. So yeah, we love Odyssey over here on Mind Your Biz. So audience, please go be supportive. You may see something as a bit of follow-up content from today's interview, but let me jump into the core questions. First off, Rich, what I like asking people about is we hear so often the onboarding into crypto questions. And I think that by, as such, they're a little boring. We keep hearing those. What I'd like to know, and what I'd like the Mind Your Biz audience to be aware of, is who was Crypto Rich before crypto? Who was just rich?
Who was he before crypto? Or before or when he's not doing crypto as well, like now?
Well, that sounds like the follow-up. That sounds like the third act. Maybe let's just start with the first act, though, the exposition.
Well, before crypto, I mean, I still work part-time as a child protection social worker. So professionally, my background, I'm a qualified social worker. I've been doing frontline child protection social work for 11 years. It's really tough. I find it really purposeful and rewarding. I'm also spent a lot of time training and development. I worked for Landmark Worldwide for many years, led programs for them, delivering their seminars and stuff. I'm married. I live outside London. I have a son who's 18, has never been to school, a daughter who's 15, who's never been to school, and I'm very happily married. And I tell my wife that she's happily married too. And she says to me, "Thank you for reminding me. How else would I know?" Fair point, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I've got some empathy for that. Certainly, my oldest. I think we've discovered before that our oldest are close to the same age, and I've got one that the same age as your youngest. So
yes,
yeah. I think my wife more routinely lets me know whether she has a solid. It's like going to one of those Brazilian restaurants, right? She's got a little marker that's green or red. She just lets me know whether or not we're okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Non-verbal, but she makes it known.
Okay. And does that answer your question?
It does a bit. So that's what you do, and those are the trappings of the life that Rich has created for himself. Which is, I mean, congratulations. I think we're living in a world where the family unit is eroding, and I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but I think the family unit is certainly eroding, and I think that people should take inspiration from family stories like yours, right, where you are trying, right? It's many people have just given up.
No, we are happily married, and I could say a bit more, I suppose, in terms of values and principles and beliefs, if you want. Yeah, I'm so politically, certainly before lockdown, I would have said I'm very left wing, very left wing. But since lockdown, it's like left and right doesn't matter anymore. I'm interested in liberty and freedom and autonomy. I don't want the state to have the right to be able to have rights over my body, rights who I can meet with. No, I get to determine that. And I think also there's a sort of libertarian streak over on the left where it goes into anarchy. And my understanding of anarchy is about grassroots, decentralization, democratization, people having agency over their own lives, making determinations. And I think one of the things that's really missing in the left discourse in the UK is any sort of understanding or appreciation of sound money. That's really missing. All they want to do is print and print and print and print. and print. So that's politically. In terms of religiously, well, I was born in Pakistan. My parents are Muslim, but for 10 years, I went to Quaker meetings because that's the kind of Muslim that I am. You know, love and honor I love and honor everybody. I'm up for a world where human beings honor human beings. And that shapes my social work. I still do voluntary work for Landmark because it just makes a difference. And that's where I'm at. And you know, that's reflected in my videos because my channel has evolved.
Okay, phenomenal.
About crypto.
Yeah, and I think that in some of the casual conversations, we're in a private group of content creators who are within this niche of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and in some cases a bit more overtly political topics that are adjacent to blockchain. And I think that some of that has come out in these casual conversations that we have behind the scenes, right? That thankfully nobody's violated the trust and published these conversations, because I think occasionally we get a little out of pocket. But
it's a really good group. It's a really good group, that one. Yeah. It's mostly well behaved and entertaining.
yeah, but definitely not PG-13. I'll say that. So yeah, if there are any would-be blockchain influencers who are under 18, sorry, no entry. But I've got a question for you as far as, and thank you for laying that out for us. And Mind Your Biz audience, if you haven't already, I know it's part of the game. Hit the thumbs up, share this link while you are in the middle of watching it. I know it's a strange ask on my part, but that's how the algorithms work. I didn't create them. So Rich, my question is not so much like, how did you get introduced to crypto, but what was sort of, and not the inciting incident, but what was the point of no return after discovering cryptocurrency? What was the thing that decidedly made you say, like, yeah, my life is forever altered, I cannot go back?
That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. I haven't left it. Like, I haven't left crypto, but then I haven't left, I suppose, my other work. And, you know, I do run my channel. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I get to express myself, and I'm making an income. I'm doing it to make an income. Like, same with social work. I care about children. I don't want them being abused, but I'm doing it for an income. You don't pay me, I won't do it. I'll find something else. I've got bills to pay. I think at some point, I'm not sure when, and this has got fulfilled, I got that I can be financially free through crypto. And last year, we paid off our mortgage. And, you know, there was a period where I was traveling to London, sleeping on cousins' floors Monday to Friday to do social work in London because I could earn more money there. And that way my wife could stay at home and my children wouldn't have to go to school. And then what crypto's made available is like, well, I paid off my mortgage as well. And there's no way that would have happened as a social worker. No way. No way, no way. I don't get a pension. I don't get sick pay. I don't get holiday pay because I do contract social work. And it's like, well, I get penalized. This is probably not the best way of saying it, but I get penalized because of my devotion and commitment to making a difference to the most distressed, disadvantaged demographic going. Children in abusive, distressed households. They don't have a vote, and their parents are so messed up and dysfunctional, they don't vote. And social workers, you know, if they go on strike, well, nobody cares. If teachers go on strike, nurses go on strike, everybody's up in arms about that. So does that answer your question?
Absolutely. It does. I suppose so. In a more fundamental way, what was the point of total commitment and integration to this lifestyle? What was the thing that made you that helped you understand that and catch that maybe that vision of being able to at some point pay off a mortgage with cryptocurrency earnings? More fundamentally, when did you depart from the way you had done and conducted your life before to then saying, no, cryptocurrency is now forever integrated into my life? What was that point of no return?
I think when I first bought Bitcoin in 2013, that was it. That really was it. And actually, well, that's when it began, but it wasn't. And I left it alone, didn't do anything till about 2015, 2016. And I was noticing the price picking up. And then I was looking at, well, how can I get involved? How can I get involved? And it was the tail end of 2016 when I bought Monero and Ethereum and Dash. And then how can I get in the business with my background? And it's like, okay, well, I'll start a channel, which I started in April 2017. So I think it was then. And now I'm in the situation where I can work part-time as a social worker because I want to. You know, I mean, I could just do my channel full time and I'd make enough to get by right now in the bear market, right?
Yeah.
In the bull market, I'd be rolling in it, you know. But I want to spend some time doing social work because it's rewarding and I want to make a difference.
Phenomenal. That's great to hear. I think a lot of people, when they get into the content game, regardless of the niche that they produce content for, it's very easy, like you said, to I mean, it's a different life. It's weird. It's entrepreneurial, right? They say that entrepreneurs will work 80 hours a week to avoid working a job for 40. And I think that's the difficulty with content creation, is that there are some false positives for success, right? And some other things that help you feel a certain way. But then, you know, it's a lot harder to answer the question, what have I contributed to the good of humanity? So good for you for not losing your soul. Like, you still have a desire to be that person still. And so it sounds like you're becoming a more integrated and whole person because of crypto, because now you have options, but and you've chosen to, with those options, decide to do something good with your spare time. So that's absolutely commendable. Let's fast forward a little bit and ask about some big wins since integrating cryptocurrency into your professional life, into your personal life. What have been some big wins that you feel were unique opportunities that you had only because of crypto, and that were also in your book, right, with your value set, a big win?
I think so. One, paying off our mortgage, like personal stuff. Then also, I have helped out many of my friends and family. You know, when things have been really, really good, I've set them up, you know, and I've set many of my friends and family up with osmosis, so that they can, which has worked really, really well for me, really, really well for me. And I've set them up and showed them how. So that's been great. I have a nephew in Pakistan who's 14, and I set him up with a Kepler wallet and told him how to stake and reclaim, and he's 14. My son bought Bitcoin when he was 11. And he understands all about sound money and all that stuff. And he educates his economics teacher at college right now.
I wonder how those conversations look. I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Economics teacher doesn't know anything about sound money, right? So
yeah, why would they? They've been fully brainwashed by the system.
Yeah. And then if I think other things, I suppose the privacy stuff, you know, there are people that I've met that I've just got on with and I enjoy doing videos, like Alexander Mercurius from the Duran and Tom Luongo from Gold Guts and Guns. I do monthly videos with them, and I'm really grateful that they do it with me, because their channels are much, much bigger than mine, right? That's been great. The stuff that I've learned about sound money, about authentic capitalism, where people are empowered, then, you know, I cannot not mention Pirate Chain, but it's not so much Pirate Chain, which is a great project, by the way. And I am a part of the volunteer crew that runs that project. But the notion of privacy and decentralization, no privacy, no freedom, which in a way is very paradoxical, because my social work job, I'm really intrusive. And I have all sorts of powers that allow me to go beyond people's privacy restrictions, but it needs to be done, right? So yeah. I think that would be it. So some of the great people I've met, some of the great projects that I've come across, privacy, decentralization, democratization, and people having agency.
Yeah, phenomenal. Well, I didn't mean to make light of the obvious win from before, which is huge. And that's just it. If people aren't if they aren't having personal wins in cryptocurrency, then you know, maybe you haven't been here long enough, or maybe you haven't taken in the right lessons. So it's great that the first win that you mentioned is one that completely serves your family and empowers you to do more and to win more and to help uplift more. That is, like you said, pure capitalism. You can't uplift somebody else from poverty or from a disadvantaged position if you yourself are not in a position to do so. So, yeah, so that's great to hear. I'm curious to know, on the roadmap of whether it's content or it's large projects. You mentioned Pirate Chain, and it's been a while since I interviewed Draith on here on Mind Your Biz as part of our privacy series as things were happening. I'm sure you're already aware. I'm a bit of an outside fan. I'm not in the community, but I'm fully supportive of privacy preserving technologies, and I feel like I can fully co-sign everything you just mentioned. It is a difficult thing, right, to balance, and it does require vigilance on both sides to make sure that those who are most vulnerable are not abused in a world where dangerous freedom and privacy exist. But we can't do away with dangerous freedom and privacy. It's a moral imperative that they exist and that we continue to be vigilant against abuse, despite the fact that freedom of association and privacy of communication exist. So absolutely love everything that you've mentioned. These are very near and dear topics to me, and the Mind Your Biz audience is familiar with that. But I'm curious, on the roadmap of content and of big things that Crypto Rich is doing, right? As this integrated guy who's putting in work in the real IRL, right, away from the keyboard, to have an influence, but then also talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain content. What are some roadmap items?
Well, it's funny because the two are become kind of separate, and I got to keep them together. So my Odyssey channel has become more and more political as the months have rolled on since lockdown started. You know, a lot of my political content doesn't go on YouTube because I'm shadow banned, brutally shadow banned, and they just censor me more. So it's all on Odyssey. I was, like many people in the West, impacted by lockdown, impacted by the rollout of the injections, which I don't refer to as vaccines. I was
thank you. They're technically not.
They're not. They're not. So I'm not having that stuff inside me. And then I was involved in I'd go to demonstrations in London for freedom and stuff. And I just got more and more involved. And at first I was just really quiet about it because I didn't, where I work, everybody was getting injected. I just kept my head down, because I was scared. And then at some point I thought, I have to speak up. I have to speak up and find allies for my own survival. So I started speaking up. And that's come out in my channel. And then one of the things I want to say is, up until a few days ago, the number was 35. It's now 36 first-hand contacts that have been hurt by these injections. And, I've done a lot of interviews, a handful of interviews with people who've been hurt by injections, including one recently with a senior nurse who's a friend of mine, didn't want it, finally gave in after 7 months and developed pericarditis, and her hospice still wanted her to have the second injection. So I'm kind of involved in that conversation. And I think that's just going to grow and grow and grow, because I see how it ties in with other larger movements. And I just thought, oh my God, did you want to put this on YouTube? Because
well, I can always redact certain words and put something on the screen if it comes to it.
That's right. And then refer people to the Odyssey version or the Rumble version, right? Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm involved in that. I've always been involved politically and interested in politically. I voted Brexit. Apparently I'm a xenophobe. I hate foreigners and dark-skinned people, apparently, because I voted Brexit. But actually I voted Brexit because I'm interested in sovereignty and democratization and decentralization. And I voted from a left-wing perspective because there are Brexiteers who are left-wing, but it's not that different from the right-wing perspective, really, minus the overt racism that's not present. And I could say something about BLM too, but maybe we'll save that for our next video.
That sounds like a good idea, but it sounds like a bit of the roadmap for you then is activism, and good for you. I mean, it seems like sort of the if you're a fan or a student of the classics, then it sounds like you're making that transition into elder statesman within those spheres of influence that you have.
Thank you.
So yeah, so kudos. That sounds like it's a very normal and well-adjusted development for somebody, instead of just letting whatever thing go to their head. Again, we had a conversation earlier about what is it you do, but in your case, it's so mission driven. I can see how it would be so integral to your identity, and And really, that's great. I don't know if I can think of a person who has a better skill set to have those really difficult conversations, like you're talking about, interviews with these people who've been injured because of your professional background. I know I come across as, at least on stage, if you see me in person, I'm this large, right, like muscle bound person who looks really physically intimidating, but I don't know that my heart could handle that. I'm a little bit sensitive at my core. I don't know how I would respond to seeing some of the things that I'm sure you've been subjected to. So having these conversations,
we could do a separate video about that. Some of the stuff I've come across, human stories, it would make your heart weep.
I don't know if I can handle it. I'm already yeah. I'm being dead serious. I'm just a little bit I'm more of a tender soul than that. Maybe that's why I put on the persona publicly, right? Is to mask the fact that internally I'm very
underneath your beefy exterior, you're still a human being with feelings and compassion and love, and yes,
well, and a woman and children who are a part of my life and identity and story, who I would never want to see suffer. And so the thought that it's happening for other people is just is a very difficult thought. But in particular now, with the last couple of years, right, of shared history around the world, right, like the silence heard around the world of everybody leaving work and being stuck at home. There's a lot that they took from us collectively. And I agree with you that it's not left versus right. It is absolutely authoritarians versus the rest of us. And so nobody will say they're sorry, and nobody will go to prison, sadly, but we can keep them accountable maybe in other ways.
I live in hope.
Okay. I'm glad.
We can talk about that in the other video, right?
No, that sounds good. In the meantime, Mind Your Biz community, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm just gonna ask, as far as there being anything by way of cryptocurrency dates or events, is there anything on the calendar that you think the Mind Your Biz community should be aware of, whether it is virtual conferences or IRL meetups that you're going to, something you'll be presenting at, anything?
Sure. I mean, I don't do much of those. I am going to be at the blockchain conference in London in February, courtesy of Secret Network, working with them. I may be at a localism event in Ireland. Maybe I'm not confirmed. I really want to go to that. That would be great. And I'll be talking about Pirate Chain and crypto in general. But apart from that, no, I would say to people that they should definitely look into my channel. I do cover crypto, and in particular the privacy focused coins. There's a Telegram group that Seth, you may be interested in as well. Pursuit of Privacy. In fact, I'll send you the link. Pursuit of Privacy. It's a Telegram group, and what they do there is just lots and lots of different cryptocurrency, privacy focused cryptocurrency projects, all in conversation with each other. No conflict or anything. A bit like the influencers group that we're in.
That's phenomenal to hear. I know that there's definitely a maximalist streak in certain blockchain communities, and it extends, unfortunately, into certain factions of the privacy community as well. Sort of like our technology is superior to yours, and so you don't really have privacy. So give up. Right? It gets a little weird sometimes. But that's great to hear. I would love to be a part of that. Thank you so much for your time. Mind Your Biz community, as you've heard Rich say, as you've heard me say, go be supportive and start in priority right there with Odyssey. And then, of course, follow Rich on every social media platform where you see that he is active. Where else can they find you, Rich?
Well, mostly the Odyssey is the best place. Also, my Twitter, which is @CryptoRichYT. I'm very active there. Not so active about crypto there, but I post all my videos. And then also I have an official Telegram announcements channel where I just post the videos that I do. And yes, that's it. Just really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I love your work, and I appreciate that you're a person who's making time for cryptocurrency and integrating the two professional pursuits of your life, because let's face it, for mass adoption to happen, we need people who are from every walk of life and who can reach sides of those who haven't adopted yet. And within cryptocurrency, we need to remind all of these gigabrain people who are, ultra advanced, that they need to meet people where they are, right? So yeah, you're one of those bridges. You're part of the glue that's holding the scene together. Appreciate you being exactly who you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Seth.
Yeah, and Mind Your Biz community. Smash like if you didn't already. be subscribed, and we will see you in the next one.